What do you do when there's an ice storm and everything's covered in ice? You stay inside and you shoot videos. Okay, let's talk fish finders. I purchased early last year, I purchased a small depth finder, fish finder, whatever you want to call them. Early last summer, I wanted something for my small boat. The big boat had a built-in depth finder to it, but I wanted something on my small one that wasn't permanently mounted. And that's when I found the Hawkeye Fishtrax. This works off 4 AAA batteries, so you're not hooking up to your 12-volt system. You can use it when you're fishing off the bank. You can use it in your boat. You can use it ice fishing. It's portable, so you take it where you want to go. Neat thing was, look how small that is. I actually had one of the storage compartments. I just put it inside my tackle box. I could bring it with me in my tackle box all the time. There were 3 styles when I bought this last spring. I paid $104. There was a cheaper version for like $50, and it did not give the temperature. And then there was a higher price version that was color. The one I purchased also had a little bit bigger screen than the cheaper version. Now it's been 9 months since I bought it, so I went back online and wanted to make sure if I'm doing a review on this, what are you going to find when you go out there now? Now, it seems what we have is the Hawkeye fish finder, and let me get the piece of paper here so I get this right. Wrote it down. This one is called the Fishtrax 1X. Now they have Fishtrax 1, Fishtrax 1X, and Fishtrax 1C. The Fishtrax 1 was today now is $99. This one, which is which is now the 1X, where I purchased for $104, is now $129. And the 1C is this in a color version, and it's $199. So this exact one right here today now is $129. It gives you depth, it finds fish, it gives you temperature. Now the main thing I wanted for my fishing, I wanted to know depth and I wanted to know temperature. As far as finding fish, I figure I'll find them when I catch them. I'm not that much on looking at this and seeing fish. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted depth so I can find points, I can find humps, I can find drop-offs, and I wanted to know temperature. So that was why I purchased this. It comes with a manual, so you can make all kinds of changes to it, and there's a lot of stuff you can do to it. But for what I wanted, I didn't need to go through all that stuff. And be honest with you, all I did is you turn it on, and there it is. There's your depth, there's your temperature, and there's your bottom structure, and you don't touch another button. And that was what I loved about it. I don't want to have to push 10 buttons while I'm sitting out in the boat to get it to do what I want to do. One button, it's on, it's my depth, it's my temperature, I can see everything I want. I like that for being simple. Now, the other end of it, let me set this over here. They come with about I don't know what it is, 30-foot cord. And the idea is you're supposed to be able to stand in the bank and throw it out and see how deep it is, and that ain't going to cut it, I'll tell you. Right? It doesn't really work too well. But it is nice. I did not mount this permanently on my boat. I just hang it over the side, and I can hang it over the side. It just goes along. I got Velcro. I can tie it on the side. If I want, I can flip it up and get it in and out of the boat. But when I'm all done, I can wrap it all up, take it back, throw it in a storage compartment, and away we go. The transducer can actually be mounted permanently to a boat if you want. It's got mountings. You can mount it to your trolling motor, point it forward if you want to do that. And then it comes with the floaty. So basically, you sit with the floaty, you put the plug in the floaty, and you can adjust the floaty or you can adjust the transducer however deep you want it or however shallow you want it. That's up to you. It worked out nice. We used this last month when Bob and I did some ice fishing. It was our first chance to get this out. it worked kind of nice because you could stand there, drop it in the hole, move over, drop it in another hole, and just keep checking the depth. And because that's kind of the way we've been working it. One thing I did pick up on that, I would drop this in the hole, and sometimes it was right away. Sometimes I did not get a good reading right off the bat. I had 0 readings, and I'd have to do it a few times. I think I finally figured out what's happening. There's a cone, of course, comes out, spreads out from the bottom. And when I got in areas where I was in 7, 8 inches of ice, I think I was setting this in, it was just the cone was going out and hitting the sides of the ice. So what you may end up having to do, if you're ice fishing, is lower that down a ways to get that below the level of the ice, and then you shouldn't have any problems with inaccurate readings or anything like that. Another neat feature by doing this, I took one time last summer, I was going along a long hump down the river, or down the lake, and I was sitting in, the top of the hump was 3 or 4 feet. I was sitting out in about 12, 13 feet of water, drifting along the edge, casting up. And I knew the surface water temperature, but I got an idea, so I took the floaty and basically I moved it 6 feet up the line, dropped that down, and now I was reading water temperatures 6 feet down instead of the surface, just to kind of see where it was changing. I would mess around for a little bit and play with it, and just something different to do, I guess. But that's just another feature. By being able to move this, you can check water temperatures at various depths. So all in all, it's worked really well. I think I went through, I believe I went through 2 sets of batteries this summer, and I used it quite a bit. So battery life isn't really that bad. The colored screen, usually when you get into stuff like this, when you're doing color, your battery life's not quite as good. So that might be a factor for you if you upgrade to the color. But again, as I said, all I was after was depth and water temperature, so I didn't need to get anything real fancy. One other feature that you might like, for guys with kayaks, this has got to be great for kayaks because it's so small. But you'll also find on the bottom here, it's threaded for your 1/4 inch thread. That's basically your standard everyday thread for every cameras, all your tripods, everything all uses that same, your GoPros, they all use that same thread system. So you should be able to take on a small boat or your kayak, set up a mounting system in front, and whether it's a permanent one or one of the suction cup type or whatever, screw this right down and hold it right in front of you, and then just take it out later and remove it. So having that feature has been pretty nice. I haven't used that feature yet. In my case, it's usually laying right beside me. It's kind of easy. I can see it when it's down here. If I've got to move it a little because of the sun, I can pick it up and move it. So I've never really used the mounting screws on the bottom, but that has to be a good feature if you can use something like that. So all in all, Hawkeye Fish Finder, happy with it. It did everything I wanted. It's not going to give you great things and tell you all kinds of stuff, but if you're just looking for water temperature and depth and make it small, convenient, and portable, I got no problem. This has done the job, and I'd have to say I'd buy another one of these. I'm real happy with it. So thanks for sticking with me.